All right, folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm joined with former Navy SEAL or retired Navy SEAL Mike JACO and the Alpha Warrior, folks. This is going to be a hell of a roundtable. There's a lot to talk about. On the outer fringes right now, you've got the anticipated, in the media, the anticipated national security emergency that Trump looks like he could declare. He's hinted at it coming in the next few months, maybe end of August. If you ask Steve Bannon, he says end of August. Juanito says October. It's anyone's guess. But one thing for sure, he's going to war with the MSN. And ABC has filed a lawsuit against the FCC. You got Morenz now pleading guilty. There's a lot of things happening. A lot of things are happening behind the scenes. And who better to bring on than the Alpha Warrior and Michael JACO? Thank you guys for joining me.
Always a pleasure, man. It's always going to be fun. So anytime I get the phone call or the text, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, I love these roundtables. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and so I guess I'm going to see you guys out in Vegas. We're all going to the Fraud Summit, the Storm Summit with Wano Saving. There's a lot of people that are going to be there. I wasn't going to go. I decided to go last second, but I'm happy. I'll see you guys at the pool. So we're going to have some fun out at the pool. And you know what? I hope you guys are getting in shape. This, man, this is crazy. So if you're really paying attention to everything that's happening behind the scenes, and I know you two guys are, let's try to get my audience up to speed, up to pace with what we're seeing here. And of course, this is YouTube. I'm the most paranoid guy on YouTube. So let's try to be vague about stuff that we talk about. But let's hit it home for my audience. Alpha, I'll start with you. You brought up Morenz. Let's take it from there. What are you seeing?
Here's the thing that I'll find it was just very important, and I think we're all excited because people are like, all right, for fighting, starting to see the steps towards accountability. But more important than that was FBI Director Cash's post on it. When he goes and he puts the post out, he did it yesterday. I don't know if you guys want to pull it up or not, but in the beginning of the post, he doesn't just put out there and just says, hey, Morenz was, like a lot of the media put out. He goes, Dr. Fauci's assistant. So he wanted everybody to know the area of operation that Morenz was operating out of. And again, there's a lot of things surrounding the pardon with Fauci. By him doing that, that was a signal to me that, hey, Fauci isn't in the clear with this pardon conversation that's taking place. So we're going to see how that develops. But then as you continued on to the conversation, he goes, Morenz, co-conspirator 1, co-conspirator 2, and others. Why does that matter? Because what he just did there was he articulated a conspiracy. Yeah. And when you zoom out and you got to look at everything that's going on, what's going on down there in the Southern District of Florida, the Southern District of New York, we've talked about RICO, plenty of times on these roundtables. He's articulating RICO right there. He's articulating an ongoing conspiracy, a criminal enterprise. So
in other words, even though Fauci's pleading the fifth over and over thousands of times, it doesn't matter. All of this is developing behind him.
100%. And this is the most significant part that I saw. One of the things that I told people is when you listen, we know that Tulsi Gabbard came out and said there's RICO. We know that there's more RICO cases going on. So we know there's at least a minimum of 2. Well, on this post, Cash says there's still an ongoing investigation. So here's what tells me the level of evidence that they have stacked against Morenz, co-conspirator 1, co-conspirator 2, others, and Fauci, is when they went and arrested this guy, they were so confident, not just that they would get a conviction if it went to trial, they were so confident they knew he would plead and not go to trial. Because if he would have went to trial and there's ongoing investigations, he now has a right to discovery. That discovery then can kind of hinder that ongoing investigation that you have, because these guys aren't going to have small-time lawyers. Their lawyers know where to start picking at information to see what else is going on. So the fact that they hit him up knowing that he was going to plea, this guy is singing like a bird when he took that plea.
So all these guys, that we've gotten down, like Brennan, James Comey, now Morenz, Maduro, we're taking these bad guys down, and they're all leading. They're all connecting a web of intricacies and connections to everybody else, correct?
100%.
Yep. Yeah, this is like the Nuremberg trial. So we had doctors' trials in Nuremberg, and it basically focused on the concentration camp, inmates and how they abused those inmates and so forth. So they had Nuremberg was not just about the Nazi generals and so forth. It was also about the doctors. So I think we're in the beginning stages of Nuremberg 2.0 here in America.
I think so too. When I'm watching, a lot of people, it doesn't seem like the news is, for most people, like, oh, nothing's happening. Oh, it's just whatever, because they expect all this explosive stuff, like, I don't know, a nuclear war or something. But what's really happening is very explosive. I mean, this is an information war, and what we're seeing now behind the scenes is the tide turning, the boomerang. What we've always talked about on all our shows for so long. I mean, we've been talking about the boomerang forever, the last 6-7 years, and we're finally starting to see the boomerang come around, and it's lobbing heads off, right? That's what we're seeing.
The other thing too is, what's mentioned, what is some of the charges that Moritz is facing? This is the FBI's verbiage, not mine. The intent to use certain tactics to avoid FOIA requests. Well, why does that matter? Well, because when you go into the conversation that John Solomon was reporting on Round River and some of this other stuff, this is what we're going to find. And a lot of us have studied certain boards where the cover up will get them caught, right?
I'm training you guys good, man. This is good. I like it. All right, way to go, Alpha.
I'm just saying, man. If you look at the way things are unfolding, it tells you the direction that we're going in. One of the things that I've been saying for a while is that the deep state's approaching a choke point, a fatal funnel. And again, with that, you got to keep your head on the swivel, because they're not just going to throw their hands up. They're going to escalate what they want to do. But I mean, they're cooked. They're still going to do what their intentions are. They're just not going to have the ability to have the results that they want. They're going to create pockets of chaos, but they don't have the ability to do mass chaos. We've infiltrated them.
So you think that with the USAID, the ICE raids, which we all know what was really happening there, I'm also hearing that our special forces, and I don't know, Mike, you might be better you might know a lot more about this than me, but our special forces are in Mexico taking down cartels. I'm here, dude, guys. Okay, I know both sides of the border. I live on it my whole life. They're telling me, like, there's big La Línea people in Juarez that are being taken down. By all means, let me tell you this right now. There should be all hell should be breaking loose in Mexico right now. That's the way it should be with everything that's happening. You take cartel bosses down, hell breaks loose. It's a territory war. It's quiet. I was talking to one of the home care nurses for my dad. She says, David, it's peaceful right now. It's so quiet in Ciudad Juarez right now. And I was like, well, I'm hearing what, and I told her that, these cartels are being taken down. So it seems to me like we always knew that the globalists or the special interests will be using the cartels to take. China was going to use the cartels to take over America for a time being, as they funded them with their drug trade and fentanyl and everything. They were going to let the cartels have complete control over America and just mayhem over America. We knew that was part of the plan in the 100-year takeover of America by 2049, I believe it is. So now, Mike, are you hearing like there's special forces in Mexico neutralizing that threat?
It's been happening for a long time. It's not anything new. And you're starting to see it break in the news. Peru has a 2026 agreement to allow special forces and so forth, or military personnel, they say, that come down and do joint training missions. So that's in the news. So they're starting to reveal a lot of this stuff. They even said today, because of the effects of El Nino, they're sending our hospital ship down. Why? For El Nino effects? Really? Sounds like things are going to get really hot down there.
Wait, they're going to send what?
A hospital ship.
To where?
To Peru.
To
for El
Peru.
Nino relief.
Well, that sounds sketch.
That's a hospital ship to help with the people that are being wounded or something.
Wow, did they even do that for the earthquakes that just happened? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking.
No, not at all. So this is more telegraphing that things are moving very quickly, and I think that you just, for guys like us, we especially Alpha, we read between the lines a lot on this military stuff, And when I saw that, I got a big smile. It's like, they are kicking some serious butt down there. They're sending a hospital ship down there. Wow.
So in other words, what you're saying is, reading between the lines, you're saying that we're already down there kicking ass, taking names.
For a long time, yeah. I know this for a fact. All right, so there's been people that have been going down there. Those are special operations, special missions. I'm not privy to that, but just looking at the tea leaves and the things that are going on, and some conversations that I have, it's been an ongoing process. Yeah. And before I even left, I left, gosh, back in 2003, we were already talking about movements that we were already planning movements down there. And when I was at SEAL Team 6, we're planning movements in Venezuela, all the way back when I was SEAL Team 6 in the mid 90s.
So if you look at everything that's happening right now, like ABC is now up at guard. They're suing, right? They're suing the FCC, and I'll bring that up right now. But why are they doing that? It seems to me they know Trump's getting ready to take over the mainstream media. They see this coming right in time for November. What's your all's thoughts on that? I mean, do you think that Trump is going to use the EBS? Do you think that's why ABC is kind of like, hey, wait a minute, we're not giving our power away to Trump? They're calling him a dictator. They're saying they're being harassed by Trump. He's on a revenge campaign. What's your thoughts on that?
One of the things this was always going to happen. It's been a while since we talked about it, but you guys remember this, the Smith Modernization Act.
Yeah.
And, and I've mentioned this to you guys, back in his first administration, I was like, why didn't Trump force Congress to repeal this and get rid of it? And for those that don't know, the Smith Modernization Act came in 2012. Prior to that, it was what allowed our military and our news to push propaganda against the rest of the world, but they couldn't do it to us here in the States. 2012, they make the argument because of tech that's no longer, our guys can't do it. So all of a sudden now it gives them this caveat to where they can now push it on us. How does that relate to this? There's two theories of why he didn't get rid of it. One was he didn't know what it was. No one's going to make me believe that's the case. Or two, because he was going to use it. And I think that's what we have seen through that first administration, through Biden's administration, through this administration. So what you're seeing now, this war, which will get forced into the courts, is going to show, it's going to expose propaganda. It's going to expose financing coming into the Mockingbird media. And this is going to create them to come back and say, we need to get rid of, ultimately, the Smith Modernization Act. That is what you're going to see, the fallout before Trump leaves office. The fallout from this is going to be the death of the Smith Modernization Act.
So do you think that, okay, so let me ask you, JACO, what's your thought? Do you think this is just about exposing the networks, or do you think the EBS will actually be used around the times of the midterms, maybe November, December? I mean, could we expect, with all the threats being neutralized, especially in Mexico, do you think there will be civil unrest or chaos? And definitely not a civil war, but some kind of chaos to where he has to use the EBS?
Yeah, I think, we've all talked about the, several cities, 14, I think might be 17 major cities that have problems. Alpha and I remember Fallujah. Fallujah basically was, we basically it was a siege. We surrounded it. We went in and we started taking them down. I don't think it's going to be that extreme in these cities, but I think it could get pretty bad in some. I think it's going to start in a lot of cities, and then it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, because it's most American people aren't going to put up with it. It's not going to be a civil war. If we look back in the Revolutionary War, we had the Loyalists and we had the Patriots. The Patriots were the terrorists compared to the British. The British called us terrorists, the Patriots. So we're going to see the same thing that happened during Abraham Lincoln's time. The press was horrific back then. He hammered down on the press himself. And of course the press today, tries to make it appear that he was a bad man for doing that. Bullshit. It's the same thing that we're seeing today. The press is the bad man, and they're trying to scream and draw attention to themselves like they're good. We all know they're bad. And yes, I think there's going to be problems, progressive, all the way up until I believe President Trump is going to stop the election. It's not going to happen. Juan was on my show. I think he's probably been on your show too, Nino, and he says it's going to be. First, I thought it might be the spring, and he said no, it might be a year. I was like, whoa, and I agree with him. I think it's going to be a year or maybe even longer, because it's not going to get cleaned up overnight. This is going to be a progressive type thing. So the press.
You're saying that chaos may last a year. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah.
Or what are you saying? What are you saying? Because if you think about it, if we really we've neutralized a lot of their foot soldiers, man, that were here in this country. Like when I hear things like Juarez, see that Juarez is relatively calm right now, I'm like, something's up. Or are they just lying and waiting? Are they just waiting to attack our infrastructure? They're waiting for their marching orders. My mind goes in 1,000 different directions, and I know obviously, Alpha, you've been in law enforcement. And I think you've dealt with gangs. The gang mentality. So you think they're waiting on their marching orders? You think they're getting ready to take down our infrastructure on a direct, like one direct hit, a simultaneous type of attack?
It's a combination of several things of what's going on, and they're all major, and they all serve a purpose. The first one, if we go back to remember with Doge, right? When Doge was the hype, at that same time, what did Trump have Pam Bondi do? He had to designate the cartels as foreign terrorists. Then all of a sudden, he goes after Doge, which leads us to USID, the National Endowment for Democracy, what I call the white collar money laundering. This is the money that makes its way to the rank and file of the deep state, which is like MS-13, the cartels. These are those guys. So he cut off the funding, or I won't say he cut off, but he dramatically impacted the funding that goes into these guys. So there's that issue because, again, the cartels, these are not people of ideology. It's money. We're for hire. Who's going to bring us the gold? Who's going to give us what we need? So he impacted that. So that is going to have an effect on them. Then he starts bombing their boats. So they know that there's active intelligence that's actually working against them. So they know they're infiltrated. So that's going to give them reservation because that's costing them money. On top of that, he sees, and this is what's going on, not just in our country, this is going on all over the world. I want to read you a few. Ramon Angel Alvarez Ayala, he's from Jalisco. He just got arrested in July, a major player. Arias Flores, El Jardinero, he just got arrested by Mexico. He was part of the CJNG, that's a major gang in Mexico. Alfonso Fernandez Maguilon Pancho, he just got arrested this month. He's the leader of Los Reyes cartel. He was taken into custody, and a multi-million-dollar reward for that, again, because it's money. Daniel Kanan, this guy, high profile, he got picked up in the UAE. And he's facing charges from Ireland. So Ireland, there's multiple countries going after these guys. The last one here, Ishmael Amayo Garcia, he just got picked up in July. He's from the Sinaloa cartel. So what we're seeing is major players that are being snatched up. That doesn't happen. And here's the thing, the cartels know this. You don't get guys like that unless you have people so far up the chain to give up their positions. So they know they're compromised. So they're dealing with that issue. Now let's take this one. This one came out in the news yesterday. A Chinese national received 15 years prison sentence today. This guy was tied to the CMLO. Now, why is this guy important? This is the guy that was bringing in cartels and guys into the United States, getting on passports, getting on driver's license, weapons. He was, one of the facilitators. He just got snatched up. So what we're seeing is an intelligence agency that's finally actually working like an intelligence agency.
Yeah.
So that makes these guys take pause. The other part that's going on here is, we say cartels, but the way they operate too is very much like terrorist cells. They're very compartmentalized. So when you take out the leadership, you still have people that have orders. So we still have to be worried about that. But I'm telling you, Trump has choked them out at every point. So do I think...
And you could tell that this operation was happening under the Biden watch also was El Chapo Jr. and El Mayo got arrested on his watch. So just before Trump was coming in, it happened right here in Santa Teresa at the private airport where I go ride my dune buggy. That's where those dudes were taken down. And I thought to myself, oh, wait a minute.
You know what Biden did that proved that they were being controlled by the good guys?
What?
You remember the app?
Yeah.
And then what did Trump do with the app?
He turned it around on
right?
him. He tracked and traced them all.
But they were so in love with Biden bringing them over. They're like El Güero loves us. You know, we'll
Yeah, we have the app, and then we use that to get them.
And then we use that to start picking them up.
Insanity.
So it's the same thing with the press. The press is basically they're running, shooting behind themselves as they're running down the road because we're coming with tanks, right? And they're not going to stop us. And we're seeing the same thing with the cartels here in America. We have special operations, ICE, special operators within ICE that are taking down. That's why the Democrat Party, which is totally compromised. I keep saying that they're going to go away. But they're constantly trying to come after the ICE agents because they're taking down their people that are going to push back on Trump if he tries to stop the election, and on and on and on. So this is happening across the border. It's happening here in the United States, and as we move forward, it's going to be a progressive type thing. It's not going to be overnight. We're going to the city's going to erupt or whatever. It's going to be a progressive thing. There's going to be problems here, problems there. They get snuffed, and then they get hammered on a larger scale. So it's a fabulous time, and I love to hear Alpha because he has the deep insights on the cartel stuff. But we have cartel here in America. That's been exposed. We remember Colorado where the cartels were up there and they were going in and making people leave their houses or whatever. That was crazy. But they're tied in with the government. So the government is in. That's why they were, against everything that Trump was saying. We can't get anything done with them, so they have to be taken down. So part of that taking down process will be the press, because the press is, MK Ultra in people like crazy. So we have to break that pattern. If people don't have that MK Ultra going on, there's going to be a massive awakening. So that's another reason why we have to have the press taken down.
Have you ever in your life, look what I just brought up, you can bet on cartel leaders being arrested, dude? I have never seen this in my life, bro. Are you kidding me? Is this what's going on? Is this how bad we're being harassed?
It's like we're living the Running Man right now, bro.
Dude, this can't be real, bro.
Oh yeah, it's real. It's happening.
You can bet on cartel leaders being arrested at Poly Market. Are you kidding me?
God, this is amazing.
It's Running Man. It's Running Man. That's what it is.
I am in disbelief right now. So let's talk a little bit. Let's pivot for a second and talk about this. So we know this is all happening right now. There's this huge cleanup operation happening behind the scenes. We know this. Our audience knows it. We all kind of have that same type of audience. That are very plugged in, right? Yep. And nothing's really a surprise to them. They know what's going on. They're researching just as much as we are, most likely. They just don't have a mic. What do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about who's going to fill Trump's shoes? Do you think Trump is still going to be president in 2028 because of what happens with the delay, the pause? On the midterms, maybe he goes a little longer into 28, 29, 30. He stays in a few years longer and then steps down. Does he hand it off to Vance? Do you see Hegsteth coming in? Do you trust Vance? Who do you see? Flynn could run. Bannon could run. I mean, but I still don't feel like there's going to be a proper election in 2028. Just saying. I feel like this midterm thing is going to throw a monkey wrench and everything into the 2028. Give me your thoughts. Let's start with JACO. Go for it.
Yeah, I think that, it remains to be seen. It's so far out, it's usually about a year out. That's the way Trump was. He came down the escalator and then, a year or so later, he was president. So that's really the way it works best. So I don't see anybody being groomed personally at this point. There's a lot of potential people that I think could probably do a great job. And I look forward to seeing a lot of those people, out there, running, and we'll see what they got. So it'll be good. So yeah, I I think it's going to be pushed like you're talking about. I think he's going to be in there because he's joked around that, I'll be here for another 4 years. So, he's already telling us. Will it be that long? I don't think it's going to be that long, but it's going to get pushed, definitely. So it'll be past to 2028 because we got to have the midterms. That's going to get pushed at least a year, maybe longer, and then the primary for president is going to be pushed a year or however long.
I don't think it's going to be Vance. How do you feel about Vance?
No, I don't. And he is who he is. Maybe he'll develop more, but at this point, I don't see him in that position.
What about you, Alpha?
We were singing this before Wayne Allen Root ever had that interview with Trump. We've been talking. Listen, the Save America Act is not going to pass, and people always ask, how did you know to call it out right away? Because do we need voter ID? Yes. Do we need same-day voting? Yes. Do we need paper ballots? Yes. All those things need to be addressed. But it didn't address the biggest wrench in the system, which was the machines. So
right. And the only way to do that is an executive order and a national security emergency. We know the Democrats are not going to play ball. They're not going to just wave a white flag.
No, hell no, they're not.
No.
And so we knew out of the gate it's not going to pass. So then the next question is, well, why is he pushing it so hard? Well, if he's pushing something that hard, it's because he needs to get the court of public opinion on it so that when it doesn't pass, like what we're seeing right now from the left and the right, is you're seeing an indictment against the government, specifically the Senate, with everybody saying, look what's going on. Look what we're having. You even have people that are, that are going for MAGA people that just saw some primaries in Florida, and they're just like, nah, people cheated. And so Trump, he's going to have the attention of everybody. So he's going to declare a national emergency. I think we're on the horizon of that. These disclosures and all that are going to feed into it. When he did the address the nation, he brought up China. That showed the foreign interference. Now we're seeing through, the Round River and these other things, we're seeing the domestic interference. The next disclosures we're going to see, in my opinion, is we're going to see the collaboration between domestic and foreign, because he needs to check that box to declare the national emergency. Once he has that, and you see the money pipelines coming in the machine, because the machines are already all getting surfaced right now. There's some stuff popping off in Arizona. We're coming back to Maricopa County. As these things come out, Trump's going to come out and say, look, they didn't pass the Save America Act. We did everything. We attached it to the recon bill. We attached it to everything. Nobody wanted to pass it. We're going to declare a national emergency. We're going to be doing it through this executive order. Now, how do we know it's going to go that route? This was the whole purpose of the No Kings. The deep state knows that he's going to do it. What I'm talking about, the deep state knows he's going to do it. They were getting all that to seed the environment that when he does do it, see, what did we tell you guys? He's a king. He's a tyrant. This is what's going on. So I anticipate we're going to see him declare the national emergency closer to November than farther out.
You think he'll do it? So that's where I'm confused a little bit. Like, do you think it's going to be more of a late October-ish type thing, or do you think
he has to do it? He has to do it as late as possible, because if he does it too early, he opens the door to make it a court thing. Because now, we can get it resolved through the court. The later he does it, that feeds into the emergency. Like, I have to do this because if we try to do this, if we try to go through the UPS and the ballots, there's time to argue that in court. So the only way he gets to use the national emergency, the executive order, is he has to show there's no time to do anything else.
Right.
Don't
you think he might? Another way of thinking, another train of thought that I've heard from other people is he might want to show winning the court of public opinion, give them enough time to cooperate, give them a couple months to get their shit together, so that he has a reason to sign the executive order.
That's what we're in right now. That's what he's been doing. Because what do we see with the post office coming out? And now we're starting to see states come out and say, well, hey, legally we can't, and that's already coming into the court. But there's no time to do that through the court. And that's why I told everybody that was a phenomenal plan, but there was a piece of that legislation that we needed to have that done like 3 months ago.
So yeah, sorry for the echo. I don't know why I'm echoing, but so where we're at right now, and I've said this many times, it's over. We are watching the dismantling of the Democratic Party. So that leads me to people like Candace, like Tucker, and others that are really trying to or they're speaking about a new party system or a new party rising. Do you think maybe they could be part of this theater, part of this operation in creating a new party to replace the Democrats? This is just kind of a wild thought, but they're either very sincere about what they're doing, and I've talked to a lot of people that say, no, They're serious. They do not like Trump, which, okay, whatever. But still, do you think that they could be used to create the next party? Because once the Democrats go down, they're done. They're done. Everyone's going to be searching for another party. Could Tucker Carlson, Candace, and others create that next party?
I think one, just to answer one of the last questions from that prior question on who the next president's going to be, I don't think we know. Okay. I don't think it's anybody we've seen. And the reason being, because if we did know and there was high confidence, they would kill him or her. So I think it'll be very late.
That's another reason Charlie's gone.
It'll be very, very late in the game before we figure out who's going to be the one that takes on Trump's shoes. But to what you're saying, do I think some of these people are part of an operation and are doing kayfabe? I do. Do I think all of them are part of it? No. I think there's some legitimate people in there that want to see, MAGA. They want to see Trump collapse. They want to see it fall apart. Now, with that, one of the things that I noticed, and this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, and people can push back against me. In the early ages, or the early kind of time frame of X Spaces, when it was the beta version, these virtual town halls, man, I'd go in there and you would just see the Democrats, Republicans, everybody was going at each other's throats bad, man. Like it was nasty. But then a foreign guy would jump in and start shitting on America. And all these people that were at each other's throats, immediately everybody just turned their sights on that guy. And we're like, blah, 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 and everybody came together. And why did they come together? Because there was a threat to something that they all had uniquely, like it was a same ideology, our country. I think, and this is just my opinion, I think when you start talking about a new party and a third party, what does that do? I think it kind of, it motivates the quiet portion of America First conservatives to be like, hey man, like we need to get loud. Like this is ours. We need to stand up. And you start to make it become an actionable group. I think that's what we're doing. We do. Listen, one of the reasons you see so much infighting within the Republican Party and Conservative Party right now is because there's a lot of people in there that are not conservatives or Republicans. It just got so extreme on the other end. Everybody kind of got pushed over here. So now when you look at the GOP or even MAGA, it's like it's a mutt, right? There's just a bunch of people that don't share the same ideologies. So something has to be formed, whether they fix the Democratic Party, which I don't even know that's possible, or they introduce a new party. There has to be a home for people to move to that are not conservatives.
So when you see people like Tucker and Candace, talking about a third party or a new party, I start wondering, and Mike, maybe you could fill me in on this. I start wondering about like reverse psyops, right? Like, are we using psyops to our advantage now? And also, like, when you look at Dearborn, Michigan, and Plano, Texas, and we all know all the extremist migrants that are there, we know who they are. Parading down the streets, marching very militant down the streets. And now you have bikers going down there and really shining a light on this. I'm wondering, are some of the bikers CIA? Is this a reverse psyop? Are they getting America? Are we using, are we using the psyops now to our advantage? Are we sending people down there to say, hey, look what's happening over here, Patriots? And now we're shining a light on Dearborn. And could this be a three-letter agency, a job of a three-letter agency, Mike? I mean, could we be doing like reverse psyops here? I mean, to get the American people to look at what's happening in Dearborn and to look at what's happening in their own community and be aware?
Yeah, there's definitely that, and those the CIA psyops. It's like they're not all good. I've been there. I know that. But
But could they be being used for good now under Trump?
Yeah, there's definitely that going on. There's always, I was part of the good guy side. So those good guys might have more say now. I believe they do. And then the guys that are not so good, they're being, suppressed or, being taken out and so forth. It's happening in the military side, the bad guys in the military side are being taken out. So that, and being exposed. So we've seen a lot of firings happening in the military, leadership level. So yeah, I think there's going to be a pushback also simultaneously when we see this pushback in the the election. That's going to spread to the radical Muslims. Not all Muslims, most Muslims are great, just like most Americans are great. I mean, you look at Biden. Biden opened the borders. He basically drained our oil. He gave away a lot of our weapons and money to Ukraine. And there was all these chicken problems that were going on, all these things were happening to our food sources and so forth. So they were moving very rapidly into taking down America. That's been reversed on a massive scale. You see, Tina Peters has gone up to Shasta County, and I've worked with those guys on shows quite a bit. Those guys in Shasta County they're basically making the model for a perfect, going forward, election process. But yeah, you're going to see these are going to be some of the people that are going to be rioting. So that's one of the crackdowns. So the radical people will probably go to concentration camps and then eventually be deported. And again, it's not all like I was just trying to point out. You would look at America during that time frame where Biden administration was running America. You would think that all Americans.
Yeah, we were the target, dude.
Yeah, all three of us and more. So not Tucker Carlson, not Candace Owens, and not those guys. And maybe that was because they're being safe or something else. So it is a possibility that those guys are, just exposing stuff. They're not really all that bad. Although, I'm not watching them anymore, but that doesn't mean that they're bad, I don't think. Will they turn around? Will there be another party? There's so many different parties right now. I think that's part of what's going to be happening as far as destroying the party system, both of them, all of them. So we're going to revamp all that stuff.
So I kind of feel like the Democratic Party is just going to fall into thousands of pieces, splintered. It's going to be broken up. And I think it's going to take a while for a new party to emerge. And I think that a lot of people are going to be arrested, man. I think, shortly after the midterms are coming into 27, maybe in 2027, but definitely, I believe, before 2028, right? I think there's going to be arrests, and I think they're going to be done. I think it's over for them, and there's going to have to be a new party emerging simultaneously, because you're still going to have a lot of Democrats that want to go. They absolutely despise Trump. They want nothing to do with Trump. You got to remember, Trump's not a king. This is a military operation. Trump is not, and Trump also understands this. This has no place for ego. There's going to be a lot of disgruntled MAGA that are going to be like, man, I have a bad taste in my mouth. I want nothing to do with this anymore. We need a new party. We need to start over. We need a fresh start. And the Democrats and the disgruntled MAGA will come together and be herded. I'm going to say the word herded into this new party that, they'll think it's a great, bright new idea. Maybe Spencer Pratt leads it. I don't know, but that's what I feel like. That's where I feel like this is going. I feel like it's all going to start coming these midterms, coming November. It's all going to cascade after that. Do you guys agree with me?
At January 27th or January 2027, Trump gets a new Congress, right? I think there's going to be a delay to the midterms, but assuming that the midterms happen sometime around November, you get a new Congress come January, right? Or whenever early 2027 we get that new Congress. When that new Congress comes in, these are going to be ones that are not going to stop Trump. They're not going to slow him down. And that's when, I'm telling you right now, in 2027, you're going to see a massive amount of indictments. You're going to see it. And the reason that has to happen is because what's coming in late 2027 to early 2028. And I'm telling you guys right now, clip it. Everybody can just bash me for getting it wrong. But
I think you're right.
Sometime between late 2027 and early to mid 2028, we're going to be in guerrilla warfare with the CCP.
I agree with you, because they're here.
And the only way we combat that, because that's going to be legitimate, like the kinetic stuff.
But you know what, though? They're at a disadvantage.
Well,
we can see them. See you. You can see us, though. Sorry.
Stock up on fortune cookies, folks. They're going to go up. But
Chinatown, we know where you are.
We've been talking about this since last year. Everything that Trump's been doing, when you follow Venezuela, when you follow what's going on in Iran, there's this power war that's going on. And Trump's been, listen, the Strait of Hormuz is open, it's closed. It's open, it's closed. Do you think Trump wants it open? Who does it affect more, China or us? China. Now, we're going to see an impact with it, too, from gas prices. But the thing is China has the classified oil reserve, right? But we know by them calling back some of their stuff, they're hurting. And it's going to get to the point now. China.
You're saying guerrilla warfare here in America?
On both
sides.
They're going to deploy it here. Remember what we saw with the egg factories? They're
going to have no choice at that point, right, Alpha? They're going to just be they're just going to be at their last stance. They got to do something.
Well, this is what you're going to see, and this is why that power war matters so much. Trump is attacking the fuel source, the resources that China needs for this artificial intelligence war.
Iran.
You need power. You need power to do that. So China knows, all right, Trump's got us by the short and curlies on that one. But guess what else you need? We might have the fuel resources of it, but you also need the components. You can have all the energy and electricity that you need, but if you have an attack on the components, that's the way that that's what this guerrilla warfare is going to be. They're going to be attacking the infrastructure that we need. Why do you think Trump has so many of these AI data centers, right? I know everybody hates them, but just think about how they're being built and how they're not close to each other. And why is that? To strategically make it to where some of them get attacked, the other ones can be secured. Like, all this comes into play. And I'm telling you that guerrilla warfare is going to pop off sometime between late 2027 to early to mid 2028. And when that happens, we have to have a Congress that's behind our president in order for us to win, because that's going to be a real war finally.
Yeah, and everyone has said, kinetic with China, it's we're in that trajectory, no doubt about it. If you're talking about data centers, man, they're building why are they building so many of them in the desert, dude? Right here in El Paso, in New Mexico, there's so many being built right here. You need
to bring Josh on for this one. So here was my concern, right?
Well, I mean, they have to use water, bro. I mean, there's no water.
The water's an issue, but it's not as much of an issue as people think, because it's not using over and over fresh water. It's using a lot of reclaimed water. This is what I tell people. I'm down here in Southern California, out in the city of Coachella. They're like, we're against this data center. And I get it. But their argument is because of water. And so I told the people that were going over the protest, I said, go tell me how much the golf course is using water out here.
That's really not my concern. My concern is surveillance and the internet of everything.
Here,
connecting everybody to this web.
They're using that against them.
Exactly. Here's the thing, and I know people get so mad at me when I say this. They're like, this is the cop part of you. You can't shake it. I probably can't. But here's the thing. You can't catch these guys that are in this country without big tech. You can't. I'm just being honest with you. You can't. There's only
I understand. And that's why they're putting up all the flock cameras. I've said that. I said they're putting up the flock cameras for what's coming. They're everywhere, dude. I mean, are you guys paying attention to this? And you see them picking up everywhere.
There's these
horses.
This is how we got them overseas. We started going high tech, and we had the data centers within the phone systems, and then we used all the where they beam out the 5G, not 5G back then, but 3G, whatever it was back then. So we started using all those, and we started to triangulate where they would make a phone call. There they are, drone strike.
So, okay, let me ask you this. So we get them. How long does that take? A year, 2 years, 5 years to get them all? Then what? But hold on. Let me finish. Because we know this is mass surveillance. So if we use your theory, Alpha, and say, okay, they're gonna, and I agree with you to an extent. I think they are gonna use it for what's coming, because that's what I see. They're feverishly putting these things up, and when you think about it, okay, they use it to take down these guys, the bad guys. The terrorist cells, the Chinese infiltrators, the whole thing, they take them down. Then what?
There's only one.
They take them down.
There's only one answer. There's not 10 answers. There's not 100 answers. There's only one answer that I can give you, Nino. And if this doesn't happen, then I think we all know what's coming next, no matter who's in power.
Yeah.
We have to have had secured the elections. Not that they told us they secured it. Every American has to have absolute confidence that we've secured our elections, because the only way mass surveillance is going to be taken down is if we vote on it. And
man, that's like putting lipstick on a pig, dude.
And I think midterms are going to be the first signal of how Trump's going to secure these elections. That is how we get a Congress that's behind him, and then that we get the final outcome of that. I think what we're going to midterms is whenever it takes place, that's a huge signal for the direction this country is going.
Yeah.
It's an evolutionary thing. So we capture that and we evolve it the way we want. But if we don't secure this election, then they have control of us.
Here's a little bit of light. Here's a little bit of light this administration's thrown at us to show that mass surveillance on Americans is not what they're shooting for. Right. And it's how much they're pushing back against the central bank currency, the CBDCs. If they truly wanted mass surveillance on Americans, this administration would be supporting it, not stopping it.
President Trump doubles down on his executive order banning the U.S. government from creating a central banking digital currency.
And
So
to
that's
me,
great news. The federal government already has too much power over your money, he says. The central bank digital currency would be very dangerous, giving them the ability to restrict what you spend your money on among other risks. So there it is. I mean, no central banking digital currency.
that to me, that's
huge.
this administration extending the olive branch of, hey, we know that you guys are worried, but look, here's proof that our intentions are not mass surveillance. Those are not our intentions. I think that's a big deal, man.
But we'd have to unplug, which leads me to believe maybe this whole watch the water thing, this whole 10 days of darkness, maybe that's unplugging from the data centers in the end.
Trump's going to address flock cameras this month. He's going to come out and he's going to talk about it. He's already hinted at it twice. They've presented it to him.
But what do you think of that theory? Do you think that could be plausible, both of you? Mike, what do you think? Do you think that maybe watch the water means the data centers? Do you think maybe, or do you think, and the big 10 days of darkness will be us unplugging from the whole system because of the data centers?
No, the data centers are going to be used for us. We're going to use them. Eventually, it'll be used for elections. It'll be used for money and so forth. That's a future. That's a positive future. President Trump, signed. I think he might have signed a executive order today or maybe yesterday, where they're going to go after here in America. They're going to start to really go after precious metals and what's that one where they using all the chips and all that kind of stuff. Anyway,
lithium or silicone?
I don't know.
So, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Rare earths. So he really opened that up for here in America because China's shutting it all down. Probably going to see the same thing happen in Canada. We saw today the dollar drop massively, and what happened with precious metals? They exploded upwards along with crypto. So we're going to see, that movement is happening, and we didn't see the stock market kind of moved a little bit, but it's all about precious metals, the new money system that's coming in. It's going to be amazing. So we have to have good elections, and we have to have like it or not, we got to have the data to go after all the people that are here in America that are corrupt and are need to be taken out. So yeah, you're seeing.
There's the silver price right now. What did it? I mean, it was up at 120, 130, wasn't it? And it dropped
26, right?
Yeah. What is it? Is this the lowest it's been, or did it go back down in the 50s and now it's shooting back up again?
It's shooting back up again. It built a base and now it's heading up. Like I said, the dollar started going up, and that brought the metals down. So now the dollar is reversing, and we're going to see all this metal really take off. I know you and I. Do you promote it too, Alpha?
I do.
Very good. So we all know that this is the way it's going. We're moving in this direction. Those that have invested are going to be very happy they listened to us. So it's going to be. And there's people that I said, get out of your house unless you've paid it off or whatever. But that's going to go down, and housing prices are collapsing crazily, like 2007, 2008 level. So eventually we'll see the stock market crash, but not yet. I think it's going to reach a new all-time highs. It always happens this way, and then it crashes, and then we move to all these other metals. So what's gonna make that happen? Could it be the midterms when President Trump comes out and says we're not having them? That could be the thing that sparks it to collapse or not. Maybe it goes into next year, but I don't know. But we're definitely seeing a movement all across the spectrum. They're going to continue to attack Trump, like we've been talking about. The press is going to go after him, and the press has to go away. Right?
But that's why he's going after them right now. That's why they're suing the FCC, and that's why there's this big fight right now. I mean, it's already happening.
You know what's coming. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they're on the defense right now, man, which is brilliant.
Yeah, and offensive fighters always win. So
a great offense is a good defense is a great offense, they say. Alpha, Mike, thank you. I got you both tickets in Vegas, man. So I know Alpha's excited. You're excited, right? You are excited. I know you're excited. Are you going to go with them, Mike?
What's that?
Are you going with Alpha in Vegas? I got you both tickets.
Just say no, Mike. Just say no. He got me dirty. He got me
No, I
dirty.
didn't get you. No, what the? What do you mean I got you dirty,
He
man?
got me dirty. He told me a text message. He goes, hey, I got that ticket you want really bad. And I was like, I didn't want a ticket, but you know, it's Nino, so I'll like whatever he's gonna give me. And then he sent me what it was for. I was like, dude.
I mean, dude, I was just being nice to you, bro. I don't know. I mean, I thought you were into it, man. I was telling him, I was like, dude, I got you tickets, and then he said he put a heart next to the message, so I thought, oh, all right. I was like, really? And boom.
Oh.
Mas puto. All right, man. Well, guys, thanks for joining me, man. It was fun. I love getting your outlook, your perspectives from your perspective from the battlefield. It's always a good time, man. Thank you. We went a little over. I thought it was gonna be 45 minutes, but we went a little over. Thanks, man. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Alpha. Can you guys just stay with me just one moment?
Absolutely.